Hello, and welcome to the Christian Faith Publishing Author Roundtable. I'm your host, Chris Baker, and for the next half hour, we'll be speaking with several very talented authors about their newly released books, what their inspiration was for creating their unique stories, and why it would be a great book for you to read and share with your friends and family. And up next on the Christian Faith Publishing Author Roundtable, we have a book that I think is, really going to be one of those books that I really like. It takes, what happens in the Bible and makes it relevant in today's society. The book is called Time, Technology, Tolerance, and Truth by author J. Edward. Thanks for being on the show with us today.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you very much.
Tell everybody a little bit about what this book entails, what it's about.
Well, basically, it's a biblical perspective on modern times. It was written in a way that clearly shows the Bible is still relevant in today's society, despite what science and modern technology have to say. I wanted to show that the only thing that changes with time is technology, and that we are exactly the same as our ancient ancestors. We have the same physical, emotional, and spiritual needs despite the passage of time. That being so, biblical truths and principles may apply to any point in history.
Now, what do you think is the main contributor for the fact that people look at the Bible and say, "Oh, it's an old book; it doesn't relate today"? What do you think is the main reason people don't feel the Bible is relevant today?
I think because it is an old document, and most people just get so wrapped up in modern times that they don't take the time to read it and see what's actually in it. They're basically uneducated about the book.
A lot of times when I read the Bible and I see something that happened, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 years ago, and I'm like, wow, that's still the same things going on today. Do you find that really the Bible, even though it is talking about ancient times, it's still the same things are going on today as were back then?
Well, a lot of the Bible is history, and the historical aspects of it did take place back then. But the people in the times back then are exactly the same as the people now. So we have the exact same desires, the exact same needs. So basically, we're all the same people. So we haven't changed any from what went on back then. So our situations are going to be the same today.
What do you hope is the main benefit you think people are going to get from this book?
Well, what inspired me to write it was, as Christians, we're supposed to spread the gospel. And whenever I would talk to people about the Bible, I'd hear things like, "You can't believe that book. It's so old, it doesn't apply to us. It's just a storybook written by a bunch of old men, and science has proven it wrong." And I just got tired of hearing those objections, so I decided to confront it head on, and this book is a result.
Now, do you think this book is going to, I'm sure it is your hope that it really changes people's perception of how the Bible is relevant today. Is that really kind of your main focus as far as what you hope people get out of this?
Well, the reviews I've got on it so far, I've had quite a few people tell me that it's actually changed the way they think, not just about the Bible, but the way they perceive situations in life in general. And when I wrote it, I began to realize that there's really three groups of people I was actually addressing. The first group were non-believers or atheists, because they were the ones expressing the objections. The second group were casual believers that really aren't taking their salvation or the Bible seriously. And the third group were mature Christians. I wanted the book to be able to equip mature Christians when they're spreading the gospel. And as it turns out, I'm finding mature Christians are getting the most out of this because they're learning more about the Bible and how to address the same objections and questions that I was hearing, which is why I wrote the book in the first place.
Now, is this a subject you want to write more about, or do you have other issues that you would like to tackle?
Well, right now, my next project is a book that I'm probably going to title something along the lines of "What Are You Seeking?" or "Seek Him First." And it's going to be a follow-up to this one for those who want to know what to do next or how to grow their relationship with Christ now that they know the truth about the Bible. All
right. Well, the book is called Time, Technology, Tolerance, and Truth by author J. Edward. Thank you for taking the time to speak with us. And, of course, you can pick this book up at Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, iTunes, and Kobo. I think it's going to be a great book to really tie in, what happened back then with today's times and the relevance there. So thank you for taking the time to speak with us.
Great, Chris. Thank you.
And up next on the Christian Faith Publishing Author Roundtable, we have author Pauline McInnis. The book is called "Are We There Yet?" The age-old question. We've asked that question from the time we were kids to adults, and probably by the time we're old and gray. What is this book about, Pauline?
It's simply about ways and thoughts that can bring you closer to the Lord. People don't even realize how many things that they see or hear or do that can bring you closer to the Lord. And if that's what you're seeking, then maybe something I've written in the book can open your eyes to it. I wrote a section about Acts, which is ACTS, that helps you think of things that can help you learn how to pray better. I mean, not that there's a good way and a bad way, but some people say, well, I don't even know how to pray. So I thought that was nice to enter into the book.
Now, this is a collection, not so much like a linear story, but a collection of your thoughts and prayers and poems. How was that compiling that together?
I just prayed about it, and I'll tell you the truth. The name of the book came to me during the night. I woke up with the name of the book and the name of the first 2 chapters. So I had to just work from there. And as I worked, I prayed, and I just asked the Lord to lead and guide me, because if it's true that He wanted me to do this and He wants me to try to help others through my words, then that's what I was going to do. And I was going to go along with whatever thoughts He put into my mind, as long as I tried the Spirit by the Spirit and knew that it was the Lord talking to me, or me giving myself good advice, and not just the opposite.
Exactly. Now, I read in this that you're trying to give people a deeper level of understanding of God's presence. What do you think is probably the biggest stumbling block for people these days that really hinders them from seeing God's presence in their life?
Because there's so much hurt, and there's so much hate, and there's just too much opposite of what the Lord really wants. And you see those things and you say, there can't be a God if this is happening. A God could not allow this to happen. A God of love could not allow this. People tend to forget that we have created this mess we're in, that we had been given free thought and free will, and with that, we have made a mess out of a lot of things. It's not the Lord's doing.
Well said. I couldn't agree with you more. Now, if somebody's on they're at the bookstore, they're online, shopping for books, and they see this book, what is like the one benefit you hope that person is going to get most out of reading your book?
Well, trying to hold back tears here because it's very sensitive to me, but I'm hoping and praying that someone will feel, gee, she kind of got me there. I kind of understand what she's saying. I can understand her because she's simple, and I'm not some big college graduate that uses big words and no one else can understand. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And through the way I spoke the words, maybe someone could understand better. I've already gotten a few phone calls that they could not believe how simple it was to read and yet how meaningful. So that made me feel so good. That alone, if, like I said in the book, if one person is helped, then I did my job.
All right. Well, this book, I think, is going to be very inspiring for people, and I think it's going to be a blessing for people. It's called Are We There Yet? By Pauline McInnis. You can pick it up at Amazon, iTunes, Kobo, Barnes & Noble, whether at the stores or online. And I think everyone really needs to pick up this book. I think, like I said, it's going to be a blessing. And thank you, Pauline McInnis, for taking the time to talk to us on the Christian Faith Publishing Author Roundtable.
You're more than welcome. God bless you.
And up next on the Christian Faith Publishing Author Roundtable, we have Laura Weigel Douglas with the book called When the Stars Lead Home. Laura, thanks for taking the time to talk with us today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Give everyone a sense of what this book is about.
My book is about a 12-year-old girl named Tizzy who lives at a summer camp called Green Hills Adventure Camp for Girls with her parents. And at the beginning of the book, things are great for her. She has great friends, a good relationship with her parents. She rides horses. She's adventurous. And her biggest concern is just defending her title as all-around rodeo cowgirl, and not much is really going wrong for her until something happens that just shatters her life and her idea of what the future will be. And so she has to spend the whole summer trying to convince two aunts that she barely knows to come out and keep the summer camp going and keep her home open for business, basically. And somewhere along those lines, she learns that, even when your course changes direction or your life isn't exactly what you dreamt it would always be, it can still be fulfilling, and it's God's purpose. You can have a great life, and she finds a way to just change direction and fight for her dreams.
Now, what made you want to write this story? Was it personal experiences of your own dealing with change? Yeah,
I think that, it's meant for girls that are middle grade readers, so, young teens, like probably 4th to 9th grade. And during that time in my life, I remember thinking, I really had an idea of how I thought things should happen and how they should go. And I had a hard time, I still do sometimes, have a hard time adjusting to change or when things don't go quite according to my plan. And so I have a young daughter, and I imagine, like, what am I going to tell her when she starts having to deal with these problems? And I wanted to write a book for those girls that need to understand that, God has his own plans for us, and if we're open to them and willing to fight for kind of what we hope for our life, but accept change at the same time, that things can still be really purposeful and life can be just exactly what we dreamt of, but maybe in a different direction. Now,
is there any part of 12-year-old Tizzy that may mirror a 12-year-old Laura?
Absolutely. I think it was really fun to write because I felt a lot of connection with her. And when I was creating her, I imagined myself at that age, 12-year-old, and I was always very adventurous. I think I gained a lot of confidence through sports and athletics and trying new things and seeing that I was able to do things that maybe I never thought I could. And that's a big part of her character, is that she's willing to fight for what she believes in and what she wants. And I think that is a strong part of my personality as well.
Now, I know you said you kind of wrote this kind of with younger girl readers in mind, but do you think this is maybe something that anybody can really pick up and just enjoy the story and enjoy the situations?
Yes, absolutely. I think that Tizzy's story is something that anyone can identify with, boy or girl, or regardless of age. I think it's great for parents to read it with their children. I think we all struggle with things in our life not going exactly how we planned them out to be. We don't control our futures, and I think that Tizzy, and like I said, she has a couple aunts in the story that are of older age, and I think they're all exploring that theme of how we deal with the future when life changes directions and how we can adjust our course to still have a fulfilling life.
Well, the book is called When the Stars Lead Home by Laura Weigel Douglas, and if you'd like to read more about Tizzy and get to know this character, you can pick up this book at Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, iTunes, and Kobo, just to name a few of the places. Thank you, Laura, for taking the time to talk to us, and we look forward to hearing more from Tizzy and hearing more from you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
And now on the Christian Faith Publishing Author Roundtable, we have author Vicky Lynn Thomas. The book is called The Three-Strand Cord of Active Relational Christian Mentoring, Women Mentoring Women with Christ at the Center. Vicky, thank you for taking the time to talk with us today.
You're very welcome. I'm glad to be here.
Now, give everybody an idea what this book is about.
This book is about Christian women who have very little time on their hands, but they want to get involved in some type of service for the Lord or for other people. And they can do this very simply by becoming a Christian mentor to another woman. Most Christian women have a heart for serving the Lord. My book will show women the importance of engaging in active relational Christian mentoring through mentoring stories, true stories that I've been involved in. I explain and demonstrate the importance of Christ being at the center of all mentoring relationships. So that's why we have the three-strand cord. There is a verse in the Bible that says, two people can accomplish more than twice as much as one, as they get a better return for their labor. If one person falls, the other can reach out and help. But people who are alone when they fall are in real trouble. But two standing back to back can defeat and conquer. Three are even better, for a triple-braided cord is not easily broken. And that verse comes from Ecclesiastes 4:9 through 10 and verse 12. So that's really the basis for my book, is getting women involved in working easily by reaching out to other women to help in Christian service.
What is probably the most important thing that a woman is going to get out of, one, reading this book, and women in general having a strong Christian woman mentor in their life? What do you think they're going to get most out of that?
Well, having a strong Christian mentor in your life can really make all the difference in the world, because a Christian mentor can support, She can teach different things depending on what the woman needs to learn. She can be a spiritual guide. A Christian woman can share the gospel if another woman has not learned about Christ before. She can be an accountability partner even. So there's a lot of things that the mentee can receive from having a Christian mentor in her life. And the bottom line is that the Christian mentor is empowering the other woman to be all that she can be for her family, her friends, the Lord, and even for herself, showing her that she's not alone in this, that whatever her problem, whatever her need, there's somebody out there that can help her. And Christian women have to learn that they can be that someone that can help another woman.
I think this is an amazing book that I think a lot of women are going to benefit from this and really be blessed and be able to bless others. It's called The Three-Strand Cord of Active Relational Christian Mentoring, Women Mentoring Women with Christ at the Center by Vicky Lynn Thomas. I want to thank you for taking the time to be with us today. And, of course, people can pick up this book at Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, iTunes, and Kobo, just to name a few. Thanks for taking the time to speak with us today.
Oh, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
And one of my favorite types of books to read is the kind of book where you get a fun adventure and you can also draw something from it to insight or wisdom. And I think that's what this next book we're going to be talking about is perfect for. It's called The Adventures of Butterfly Ben and Johnson, an allegory for all ages by F. Leslie Spangler. Thank you for being on the show today with us.
My pleasure.
Tell everybody, what is this book about?
The book is really about communicating the Christian religion from basically from an adult to a child, but it can also work in reverse. The concept is pretty simple. I've taken some of the key Bible verses that are necessary to foundation for your Christian faith, and I've written it in a sort of a musical dialogue that would appeal to children or it wouldn't really appeal to anyone, but basically for children. It's set up in a manner that asks a lot of questions, and then the fun of the book is to go through and decipher it's a mystery in a sense, to find the answers to the questions and to find some secret elements that are left for you to discover.
Tell us a little bit about these two characters, Butterfly Ben and Johnson. Who are they?
Butterfly Ben is a young boy, and when you first meet him, he's in a pristine, absolutely pure environment. And then one day his father doesn't come home. He's a woodsman, and he doesn't come home. So he goes to school, and in the school it's a worldly environment. So he goes from a pristine environment to a worldly environment in the school, and they ridicule him there. He calls out to his father, and his father, being God, of course, sends Johnson, who is the Holy Spirit. And so Butterfly Ben and Johnson then have one adventure after the other based on Bible verses. It goes from John 3:16 to the suit of armor, to put no other God before me, to the Great Commission, to communication with God, and finally, there's no greater love.
I'll tell you what, it sounds like a fun book. Like you said, I think kids are going to enjoy this. I think adults are going to enjoy this as well.
It's written in a manner that it can be read out loud, but it's a quite unusual writing style. Let me put it that way.
Any plans for future adventures for Butterfly Ben and Johnson, or maybe other characters you'd like to do?
I don't know. There could be. What I'm working on now is seeing if there's any doing a play or a musical similar to Wizard of Oz, something along those lines, because it has, instead of the yellow brick road, it has the narrow path, and of course in this case they're going to find God, and so they have one adventure after another where it illustrates different situations and different important points as far as Christianity and becoming a Christian and knowing God.
The book is called The Adventures of Butterfly Ben and Johnson, an allegory for all ages by author F. Leslie Spangler. You can pick that up at Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, iTunes, and Kobo. I want to thank you for taking the time to talk to us. It sounds like a great book, and I think everyone's going to love it.
Thank you very much.
And up next on the Christian Faith Publishing Author Roundtable, we have author Gracelynn Davis. The book is called Sam's Smile. Gracelynn, thanks for taking the time to talk with us today.
Thank you. I'd like to be here.
For those that aren't familiar with this book, tell everybody a little bit about what Sam's Smile is about.
In a nutshell, Sam's Smile is about seeking God's purpose for your life, finding self-forgiveness for your past, because we all have a past, and then moving on into a closer relationship with God. And all of that is set in a story about saving a marriage.
The main character in this is Jenna Perkins. What really inspired you to create this character and write about the situation she's in?
I came up with the idea of the beginning of Sam's Smile years ago, and I jotted it down, and then when I met my husband, I knew that his personality would be a good fit for the husband character in this particular book, Sam's Smile. So about 10 or 11 years ago, I started working on this with him in mind for the main character, and then when I would get stumped on a story part of the storyline, I would play kind of a what-if game, and it would move me forward, and God compelled me to do certain things. There were certain things that I had seen in other people's lives that I was able to incorporate into this book, and then the basic desire to have self-forgiveness in my own life compelled me to help her try and find that also, and hopefully help others to reach that, because if they can reach that self-forgiveness stage in their life, they can get even closer to God.
Without giving too much away, what sort of situation is Jenna Perkins in that puts her in a place where she needs to seek self-forgiveness?
She is waking up, and she has amnesia, and she had been in a coma for 3 or 4 months, and she wakes up, and she is married to someone that she doesn't know. And at some point in her rehabilitation, she has to go home and get to know him. Well, she falls in love with him, but as time goes by, she finds out more and more about her own past, that he has not told her, that their marriage was very rocky, and that she had not been walking with God, and that she needed to basically make peace with all of that and go forward to be able to stay in the marriage.
Forgiveness is such a great topic to write about. And, I find in my life and the life of a lot of other people I talk to, God is always wanting to forgive us. Our friends and family, they're always willing to forgive us. But why do you think we find it so hard to forgive ourselves?
I think we listen to the voice in our head or the people around us, and we never feel good enough. And even though God forgives us as soon as we ask Him to, and the people around us, like you said, they forgive us also most of the time, we listen to those thoughts, and we cannot get over them. You're not good enough. You're not smart enough. You did this. You did that. And to get to that point, we're like, okay, I'm done with the past. God has forgiven me. I feel so much better now. I'm going forward, and I'm going to live my life for God. And I'm not going to keep beating myself up for my past, because that's where it is. It's in the past. This
is your actual first published work. How was the publishing process for you to be able to see your idea on the paper and then to have it published?
It's an interesting process. I had no idea. When you're an outsider looking in, it's overwhelming. And then once you're in the process and they help you go through it, that's very helpful. To see my book in my hand was very nice. But what really got me was when I had a reader tell me that she laughed and she cried, and that at the end of the book she felt at peace. And that right there, that's why you write the book. That's absolutely priceless.
I think this is a great story. I think people are really going to be interesting to see the journey that this couple, this relationship goes through, and hopefully find out a little bit about themselves and their own capacity to forgive themselves. It's going to be a real blessing to those who read it. The book is called Sam's Smile by Gracelynn Davis. You can pick it up at Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, iTunes, and Kobo. And thank you for taking the time to talk with us on the Christian Faith Publishing Authors Roundtable.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining us for the Christian Faith Publishing Author Roundtable. We'll be back next week with another great group of talented authors to discuss their books, their process, and how they were able to get their manuscripts published and out there for the world to enjoy. If you're a writer that is looking for a book publisher, give Christian Faith Publishing a call today at 1-800-955 3794 to receive a free publishing kit, or feel free to visit them on the web at christianfaithpublishing.com. Have a great weekend, everyone.